Shalom, once again, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shem Rakakwada. Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. Back at you with another one. And the title is, I put this up in here, and I went to news. First, I went to all Zimbabwe gold backed dollar. So that's the title I'm going to give it. This was 3 days ago. How will Zimbabwe's gold-backed CBDC, central bank digital currency, fare in the face of hyperinflation and a lack of trust? Well, if it's backed by a dollar, if it's backed by gold, they don't have to worry about that because that gold is an actual substance backing that particular money. Like when prior to 1933, you had what was called a gold standard, gold and silver standard, but they say gold standard. When you go to gold standard, it takes you back to prior to 33, where you had, for as much gold as the U.S. had, you had that many paper dollars or gold certificates or silver certificates. So if there was 20,000 gold certificates, that would be, how would that work out to? 20,000. You got each one represents a $20 bill. So let's do it this way. Let's do it easier. The gold standard was an ounce of gold was equivalent to a gold certificate, $20 gold certificate. As you have your dollars, you put out a $20 bill, but back then it was called a certificate because it represented a ounce of gold. It said buyer, on demand, 1 troy ounce of gold. So you can go to the bank prior to 33 and give them a $20 gold certificate and they'll give you a gold coin. But what happened was that the paper is lighter, so you can put $120 certificates in your pocket. You can't put 100 ounces of gold in your pocket. Okay, that's going to weigh you down, so to speak. So that's how they did it. So what they were doing behind the scenes, they were making more certificates than they were gold. And part of that's a whole nother topic. You got the whole depression. But what happened was FDR confiscated the gold and the certificates, but he put it back on the gold standard. But at 35, a little bit more than $35. I'm just dealing with gold. And that stuck around until 1971, where President Nixon in 71 closed the gold standard, and then shortly after the silver standard, he temporarily closed it. But that temporary close is still here today. The U.S. never went back to a gold nor silver standard. So there's nothing backing the paper notes that you have in your pocket. It's called credit. You have credit in the form of paper notes, or you have credit in the form of a credit card. You get a credit card, you max it out, you don't pay the bills. Nobody's going to send you a credit card because they don't believe that you're going to pay it back. And you prove that by not paying back the first card. You max it out, and that's what America's doing. They're living off of borrowed time and credit. So it says, let me get right into these stories. So now they're speaking about a reset, right? And it's financial. The reset is the CBDC. Now, did the the people of Zimbabwe, Africa, come up with this idea? No, this this comes from this comes from, let's say, the beast. Let's call it the beast. And what they're doing is a series of experiments or like test nations or model nations to see how it works. It's going to come over here. The CBDC will definitely be here soon enough. So I said, how will Zimbabwe go back CBDC? Now, if the CBDC come here and you can back it by gold, that's what you want to do. Give me a second. And it'll probably be that way for a while, but the CBDC will be just like your paper dollar. It's not backed by anything. So the CBDC could you can create CBDCs out of thin air. I'm talking about the central banks. The central bank, the Federal Reserve note will be a part of it. They may change the name, but this is one step closer to the MOTB, like we here at Great Millstone keep saying. So it says, how will Zimbabwe go back CBDC fare in the face of hyperinflation and a lack of trust? Well, if it's actually backed by gold, then you don't have to worry about the lack of trust. Because every CBDC or digital dollar that you have, you're being backed. You know that you can say, well, I want to switch this up to a silver coin or gold coin. So it says Coin Telegraph. That's I guess it's a magazine website. Zimbabwe's central bank to issue gold-backed digital currency report. Now they're not going to do it for long because the U.S. you can't do that because that CBDCs in Zimbabwe is real money. This is what happened with Muammar Gaddafi. He was going to set up a gold-backed currency based upon a dinar. And what happened to him? CoinDesk, Zimbabwe to introduce gold-backed digital currency. The token will be a form of electronic money, money backed by the country's gold reserve, which will be held by the central bank. Zimbabwe plans to launch digital currency backed by gold. And that's not going to work. Something's going to happen with Zimbabwe. They'll get rid of the current leader and they'll put a puppet leader up in there. So, we got to watch. So let me go to news. And this whole CBDC is going to lead to the MOTB. This is the same article. Zimbabwe unveils gold-backed CBDC. Zimbabwe to bring in gold-backed CBDC with dollar ravaged by inflation or hyperinflation. So that's a reset. That's a African reset. So what they're doing, they're going to a gold standard, but instead of paper notes or certificates, they're using central bank digital currency because that's going to be the name of the game. Central bank digital currency, and it's coming to a country near you. It's definitely coming to America because the idea came out of Europe and the Americas, out of the beast. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.